this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. My back is no better, but I've just done the first attempt at watering absolutely everything in here with the piddly little sprayer I've got. It only holds a fraction over a litre, and the time really is taken up with keep undoing it and filling it up and pumping it up again, plus repeated pumps while I'm spraying. But just on a time scale, I had to get a chair in here to get up above the higher shelves basically, so that I could see what I was doing. And there's an awful lot of water splats all over the place where it hits leaves on the way to a certain pot, especially those at the back of the shelves. But fundamentally, everything got some water. I can't say that those pots are fully hydrated in all cases, and some may have got a bit more than I would have done if I'd been doing it more carefully, a pot at a time. But everybody got some water, so I'm happy now that I can do that, albeit on a temporary basis. And once my big sprayer arrives with a nice long lance, I can be far more accurate and won't need to stand on a chair and all that sort of stuff. So it's working. How long this back problem's going to last, I don't know. The last time it had a flare up on this scale, it was about 10 days before it eased off enough to forget it's there most of the day, which is what I'm looking for. I don't mind a twinge when I try and get out of a chair, you know, while it's on the mend, but at the moment, you know, everything hurts, so it's just a matter of taking it easy, as recommended by many of you. Thanks. I thought I'd give you an update on the monetization bit, because obviously it's new to me and I don't really know, I didn't know how it was going to work or even how the mechanics actually work. But it looks like YouTube updates the estimated revenue about 48 hours in the rear, if you know what I mean. So it's never quite fully up to date, because when you go into the analytics, you get, by default, you get the last 28 days worth. But the date it comes up to is like 48 hours away from the current date and time. So yeah, I was quite pleased. On the first morning when I went and had a look, there was nothing. And on the second morning there was nothing. So I thought, oh, this is working really well. This was worth all the flipping waiting around and faff setting up the accounts and everything. And then on the third day, I didn't jump up and down because there was $1.26. And I thought, oh, there's a few pennies. The next day it was $12. And this morning it's 22. So it looks like it updates overnight while I'm tucked up in bed trying to rest. And if that's going to be a general average, that is quite a lot more than I thought, because that looks like it's going to be somewhere around the $10 a day. Now I was thinking more along sort of $20 a month. But anyway, I don't know whether that rate will be maintained, but all I can definitely say is it can only be maintained if somebody is watching the adverts, because that's how the money changes hands. So for all of you who are putting up with the adverts on the front and not skipping out of them, thank you very much. That revenue will go into this place. It's not going into Roger's wine fund, it's not going into Roger's holiday pot, it's going into this place. I want to keep it all self-contained. So that will be reimbursement for recent purchases, like getting a second decent fogger, having to replace a fan, you know, and media. I mean, that last lot of bark I got was 80 quid, whatever that is in dollars, about 110 I expect. Yeah, okay, it'll last a couple of years, but nonetheless it's still an expense. And things like going to shows, I mean, I'm off to Malvern next month. Well, that's quite a high fuel cost. I don't have to pay a lot to get in because we get very heavily subsidised tickets. I think it's 20-something pounds to get in on the day, whereas we get our tickets for 8. So yeah, but I mean, you know, that's not a cheap day out, as days out go. And you know, this money I'm keeping separate. It's for orchid related stuff. It's not going to get siphoned off to anywhere else. That may also mean that I get the choice between a medium-sized plant and a large specimen plant off of my wish list if I ever come across them. My wish list is very small at the moment. My wish list of plants to go is quite big. I've still got probably 15 to 20 orchids in here that I would rather were in somebody else's collection, but I need to get round to organising that and filming the ones and talking about them and how they would need to be looked after, when they were last repotted, all that sort of stuff, and then we'll see who wants what out of what there is to go. I mean, there are in amongst the plants to go some very good plants, but for me they're duplicates, like my Coelogene cristata. I've got 2 good potfuls of that. Well, I don't need 2, you know, so there's a good potful of that particular variety when I get round to it. But that's down the line a bit at the moment. It's very good to know that I can get round this place with this little sprayer. The downside is there's an awful lot of plants are soaking wet, which I'd prefer not to do. You know, even my zygos have got some water on the leaves, despite how careful I was. But we're due a bit of sunshine today, they'll soon dry off. The hard bit is things like the vandas, because the roots are right next to the electrics, and we do not want sprayers getting on the electrics, and it's a concentration thing. You know, when I'm pointing a sprayer like up there, you know, if you look at the line of sight between that hibiki, what's directly behind it? A bank of sockets. We do not want water anywhere near those. We don't want water anywhere near the inside of the fans or on anywhere where there's electrics, basically. So I do have to take care, but that little bit of concentration's worth it to be able to water this whole flipping lot in probably half an hour. Now, if I was watering these properly, that would have been 4 hours, maybe even 5. But as I say, the main downside is I'm not picking the plants and picking up plants and looking at them properly. So there could be things with legs lurking in under leaves and on the base of pseudobulbs that I'm not getting to see at the moment. But you know, whatever I get, I can deal with down the line. They're not going to get that big a hold, not in a short amount of time. I'm hoping to have to stick to this, but anyway, it works. So, you know, people who suggested why don't you use a sprayer and this, that and the other and take it easy, and that, it's all being done and it all seems to be working. So yeah, I've got my Orchid Society meeting tonight, but apart from that, the rest of the day we had some rain so I don't need to water anything in the garden, humping watering cans around and all that sort of thing. So that's helped me out. And it's just a nice take it easy day. There's no new blooms out here to look at, just things continuing basically, but I'll keep my eye out, and anything new comes along we'll find it. Tomorrow, Saturday's a travel day, so I may have a whiz round with the sprayer in the morning, at least for the mounts. I'll probably get away with not touching the pots tomorrow. Sunday I'll be here, and Sunday, if I think I need it, my daughters should be here. Now, I could do some proper watering while she's here, because she can get down and get the plants off the low shelves and get them all out for me. I can stand here patiently watering them and having a look over them, and then she can do all the bending and putting them back. There's nothing heavy in here. It's just awkward for me doing high shelves, low shelves and mounts that are a stretch. So we could actually perhaps do some proper watering in the areas where it's most needed. But that remains to be seen. Anyway, so I've got part 8 of my updates to post, which I will do tomorrow morning before I set off. So there will be a video tomorrow. Sunday, I'm not so sure, and I don't know whether I'm taking my daughter back Sunday evening or during Monday. So that will dictate whether I'm filming on Monday or not. And hopefully by then there'll be some sort of normality back in here by the time we get into next week. And that's May virtually over then, isn't it? That came and went pretty damn quick. That's 1 month of the growing season gone. And then, you know, quite a bit of hot weather during that time as well, which now that I can soak the floor and keep the humidity up, it's a good growing environment on days like that. Days like today, not so much. I mean, what are we up to? 21. But at the moment, the humidity's at 96. That's because everything's soaking wet. You know, it just evaporates into the air and dramatically increases the humidity. I think I might actually turn the fans on manually, because the fans kick on at 24 degrees, and if we don't get any sun it won't get up to 24. So I think I'll manually put the fans on and give everything a bit of a blast, a bit of a blow dry, and then we'll see where we go from there. But thanks for all your thoughts. As I say, this isn't an illness, it's just an injury that's decided to flare up. And at the moment I am at a loss. I have no idea why it's done this. I haven't done anything daft, I haven't lifted anything awkward or heavy, or I don't know, it's just decided to have a play at the moment, much to my annoyance, but I'll get over it. A little bit of pain never hurt anyone. Stupid expression. See you next time.